Hello! Thank you for tuning in to Expo 2020's Homebrew Pinball presentation. In this segment, we're going to showcase several game designs from members within the community. These designers are working out of their houses and their garages, utilizing hand tools, some of them CNC routers and professional grade cutting equipment in order to manufacture one of the most complex gaming devices that you can think of, pinball. So join me as we check these out and enjoy. The first pinball machine we're going to feature is a custom Good vs. Evil head-to-head pinball machine by Jan Cantert. Let's check it out.
Versus Evil is a head-to-head pinball machine where two players compete. The artwork is still preliminary, but the machine is fully functional and programmed using the Mission Pinball framework. Both sides feature a standard-size playfield, which can be lifted like on any other machine. The machine has 36 coils and 128 switches, which are driven by modern noteboards. Additionally, there are nearly 500 RGB LEDs. While competing, players can see each other through the back box, which features an RGB dot matrix display on each side. But now let's jump into a game where Jack Danger is competing against a very experienced player on the machine. When starting a game, the first thing you will notice is that the machine will launch a ball to the other side into a feeder device. The game then starts, but the machine will instantly feed another ball to the feeding device, which will be ejected if you drain a ball. But let's back up a bit. There are 6 shots which are used to qualify modes. Hit them 3 times and the mode will start. Each mode has a unique color which will be used to indicate further shots in the mode. Additionally, there are 2 shots to the other side. The second ramp from the left feeds onto the pops of your opponent. The middle ramp feeds a physical 3-ball lock on the other side. In this game, you lose a life every time you drain a ball. Your lives are shown on the left and your opponent's lives are shown on the right. So what does happen if you shoot your only ball to the other side? Now your opponent has 2 balls and you instantly get another one from your feeder device. As you can probably imagine, having multi-ball on a machine where every drained ball removes one of your lives isn't a good thing. We can now see that the left player chooses the red mode, which is an offensive mode to attack the other player. The general goal on this machine is to get your opponent as many balls as possible so that he will drain them and lose all his lives before you do. This is exactly what the left player does by finishing the red mode. The player on the right decides to play it safe and selects the blue mode, which is a defensive mode. This mode will gather your troops, which will respawn the drop targets on the other side in front of the direct shots to your playfield. This will prevent your opponent from shooting balls over to your side. The number of your troops is indicated in blue on your playfield. On the right in green you can see the number of balls you got in the lock on the other side. After locking 3 balls, the player can start an attack by shooting the right scoop. After starting the attack, a ball will be released on the other side every 10 seconds, getting your opponent into trouble quickly. As the left player finished the red mode earlier, he can now qualify for a mode again. There's the yellow mode, which will blind your opponent. There's the orange mode, which will get you back lives. The purple mode will get your opponent weak flipper fingers for a few seconds. And finally, the green mode, which will get your opponent a few more balls from his feeder device. Alternatively, you can also keep shooting balls over directly if your opponent does not defend himself. Both players now start the attack mode nearly at the same time. Unfortunately, the left player has already drained too many balls and is currently on his last life, which he also just lost.
Loser!
That's your side,
actually.
Now I will show you what will happen if you complete the yellow mode. Your opponent's playfield will turn yellow and he won't know what to target anymore. Next we will look at an interesting game where the left player finishes the purple mode and gives the right player weak flipper fingers. At almost the same time, the right player starts an attack on the left player. You can see the right player struggling to keep his balls from draining, which does not go so well. At the same time, the left player is hit by the attack. Tries to defend against the attack by hitting the center bash toy. Unfortunately for her, the troops from the right player prevent her from hitting the toy. That has been a short overview over Good vs. Evil. Thanks for watching.
That was excellent. I can't even imagine the amount of engineering work that went into designing that and building it. It's like building two games at the same time. So Jan, my hat's off to you for that. Next, we're going to hand it over to Coleman Martin, who's going to show us his custom Greek Gods pinball machine.
Hi, I'm Coleman. I want to introduce you to this homebrew called Greek Gods. I've been working on it for about 2.5 years with my now 11-year-old daughter who's done all of the art. Before we get into the machine, I want to call out a thanks to my friends on PinDev. Without their advice, I never could have done this. And to the friends and community of programmers and forum supporters of Mission Pinball Framework, whose software I'm using to control and program the machine. Let's start with the back box. Greek Gods uses a multimorphic P3 ROC controller. In here we have serial LEDs, motherboard, graphics card, the P3 ROC controller, amp, 12 volts, 5 volt, 48 ATX supply, power entry, and a slew of voltage gauges and temperature sensors because I was afraid I was going to burn something down. I'll put the monitor back in and show the playfield. On the playfield, I crammed as many interesting things as I could possibly think of. I love LED lights, so I put serial LED strips in all the ball guides. Also LED rings in each of the pop bumpers. Much of the gameplay is controlled by this cage Powerball, which controls a diverter up here at the top of the playfield, sending the ball down one ramp or the other. Each ramp has a 2-ball lock, and by filling both, you can get a 5-ball multi-ball going. The strategy of the game is to build up points in either of these two areas to light the lock and lock a ball for a multi-ball. There's a scoop which is served by a subway with 2 gobble holes. Poseidon's area here needed a little livening up, so I put the slingshots on my flipper buttons controlled by a knee switch. Hiding behind the drop targets, I've got a slingshot. The lower playfield incorporates a RGB ball timer just because it's fun and cool. And something else that's kind of unusual is a proximity sensor under the central insert, making this a very close shot. Also, I use proximity sensors in each of the return lanes. The game uses 2 magnets in orbit to direct the ball to where it thinks the player needs to score points to advance the game. The central monitor, of course, instructs the player as to what the pertinent shots are. Another unique aspect of Greek Gods is the central monitor is actually transparent with its own playfield underneath that's capable of running mini games. subways underneath the playfield. Send the ball in unexpected directions.
That was excellent. I love the use of a transmissive display as opposed to the top-down projection very similar to Pinball 2000. I think that just the sheer work that went into that was amazing, and it's an overall great execution of a pinball package. Next, we're going to hand it over to Anthony Van Winkle with his pinball machine, Mass Effect 2.
Hello Pinball Expo 2020. My name is Anthony Van Winkle, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to Mass Effect 2, the pinball game. Mass Effect 2 the Pinball Game is a hand-built homebrew machine using the fast pinball platform for hardware control, Fade Candy for lighting, and the Mission Pinball framework for software. The display panel has two 20-watt full-range speakers and a 12-inch 1280 by 480 display, split into two sections. The left side of the display is the primary and shows what the player needs to see during gameplay. The right side is contextual and can show images, videos, and story details. The design here is separated because I didn't want to be limited to a traditional DMD, but I find modern pinball displays to be too busy and cluttered. I want the player to be able to see what they need at a glance without distraction, while providing some decoration for spectators to enjoy. This project was originally going to be a retheme of Stern Game of Thrones Pro, and my first year of development was done on a Game of Thrones machine, with Mission Pinball framework controlling the Stern spike boards directly. I actually bought a Game of Thrones machine specifically because I could develop on it using MPF, while also getting to own my favorite pinball game. Ultimately, I decided not to ruin a perfectly good machine, and instead built Mass Effect from scratch, but it still holds the general layout that Steve Ritchie designed for Game of Thrones. There are 5 main shots with targets in between, a drop bank on the left, and a hit bank on the right. Pop bumpers at the top unlock upgrades and special powers, and a hold post on the left ramp starts the mission select mode. A very minimal playfield, which I love because it stays out of the way and lets the game rules provide depth and challenge. The major alteration I made from Game of Thrones is changing the dragon kickback lane to an inner loop, which I call the airlock lane. Instead of a short lane that kicks the ball right back at the player, the lane loops underneath the left ramp and feeds a ball lock channel. There's a dual post that holds the locked balls as captive balls, which can be hit to increase multipliers and collect some jackpots. If the lock is disabled, the post will drop, and the ball whips through back to the player. In Mass Effect 2, you play the role of decorated veteran, galactic hero, and all-around badass Commander Shepard. Your task is to find and recruit a squad of soldiers, scientists, and mercenaries to join you on a quest to save the galaxy from an alien race called the Collectors. When your squad is ready, you must lead them on a suicide mission through the Omega-4 relay and destroy the Collector base. The core gameplay loop involves unlocking and completing missions to recruit a squad of badass characters, depicted across the lower playfield. The missions are all different, and the player can choose the order according to their personal strategy, so rather than inserts under each squad mate, I have a progress ladder up the middle. Available missions will blink, and completed missions are solid, showing overall progress regardless of which squad mates are recruited. If you'd like to know, though, the back box lights indicate the status of each character. As the player progresses through the recruitment missions, mini-wizard modes unlock as indicated by these lights beside the ladder: the disabled collector ship, the derelict reaper, the Normandy, and finally, the Omega-4 relay. In addition to the main story quest, all the side quests and DLC from Mass Effect 2 are represented in their own modes. The hit bank lights lock, and the airlock holds the locked balls. In the first half of the game, the multi-ball is based on the Project Overlord DLC, and in the second half there's a different multi-ball based on the Arrival DLC. Complete the drop bank to collect intel on the Shadow Broker and start the 4 modes of that quest, including a chase, a battle against a teleporting target, a tower defense mode, and a 2-ball multi-ball fight against the Shadow Broker himself. The pop bumpers count down to N7 assignments, which are quick one-shot hurry-ups, and the lanes progress the Firewalker modes, which are multi-shot hurry-ups leading to a final multi-ball. Mass Effect 2 the Pinball Game is designed around the narrative gameplay experience, not high scores. There's an emphasis on strategy and personal playstyle, so you can play the way you like or mix it up for extra challenge. Unlockable upgrades allow you to choose from different bonuses like longer ball save, faster bumper rewards, or extended timers. Different class-based powers give you an edge during missions, like Singularity to light closer targets, Tactical Cloak to rotate the playfield, or the Biotic Charge to instantly hit a shot. And the squad mates you've recruited affect the shots, timers, and emergency saves available during the suicide mission. The Mass Effect 2 pinball modes are designed to replicate the experience of the video game, so the mode conceits are built around story objectives that translate directly into pinball mechanics. Every action you perform with the pinball parallels the action Commander Shepard performs in the story, and the result is a tangible, practically visceral level of engagement unlike anything I've experienced in pinball before. Nowhere is this more apparent than during the Suicide Mission, a 7-part wizard mode that faithfully recreates every step of Shepard's attack on the collector base. Dramatic lighting sets the mood, and dynamic music rises and falls with the tension as you choose specialists from your squad and try to get through each phase with minimal casualties. The more squad mates that survive, the better your chances to defeat the collectors and escape the base alive. This game has 10 recruitment missions, 4 Shadow Broker modes, 2 standard multi-balls, 3 mini-wizard modes with 1, 2, and 3 different phases each, 10 Firewalker and N7 hurry-ups, multiple unlocks, upgrades, and power-ups. And yet with all that, the Suicide Mission alone accounts for over 20% of all the code I wrote for the game. The Suicide Mission is a massive final mode, and it so authentically recreates the tension, stress, and excitement of the original experience, I still get goosebumps when I play it. Of course, pinball skill levels differ, and getting to the final wizard mode is usually very rare. Mass Effect 2, the pinball game, features multiple difficulty levels to adjust the challenge for more and less experienced players, and tracks your best scores and times for each mode to award achievements. Each player can create a profile not just for achievement tracking, but with a save game feature that allows you to play through the story at your own pace. For a modestly skilled player like myself, it takes about an hour and a half to make it through the main story campaign in the Suicide Mission. Including all the DLC and side quests, it's a bit closer to 2.5 hours. The profiles and save games further emphasize the narrative focus of Mass Effect, encouraging players of all skill levels to experience Commander Shepard's epic journey. You don't have to be a pinball wizard to save the galaxy. Thank you all for watching this brief overview of my little project. I'll be creating more videos in the future that go into detail about the gameplay, mode conceits, and the design theory behind narrative pinball. You can see more details and a link to the relevant social media from my website, masseffectpinball.com. Thanks for watching.
You know, I really do like the bezel divide in the display that Anthony has come up with. I also find it really difficult on large displays to glance up and get information really quickly. So hats off to you for that. And I also think the storyline integration as well as the light and sound choreography in the game was top-notch. Next, we're going to take a look at Metroid Pinball, which is a game that Mark Seiden is working on featuring MPF and the fast pinball hardware platform.
Hello everyone, my name is Mark Seiden and this is Metroid Pinball. I've been working on it for about 4 years. It uses fast pinball for the hardware and mission pinball for the software. It's the second iteration. First one's behind me. It needs art. Art will be done by Joel de Guzman. If you haven't seen his Hershey Bears game, it's amazing. It features music by Stemage and his band Metroid Metal. And callouts are done by Claire Henry as the voice of Samus, and I'm super happy with how the audio package is coming out. It sounds so cool. Let's just get into it.
Choose landing site.
So Metroid is, if you ever played the game, it's a game about exploration, fighting monsters, finding secrets. So I tried to sort of bring that over into the pinball rules.
Norfair.
So first off, you can
Meridia.
pick your landing site.
Direct ship. Meridia. Norfair.
And the way this works is basically it's composed of rooms on a map, and each room is a different mode. And you can go between different rooms by hitting certain shots, which are doors, and that takes you to another mode / room. The goal is to make it to the boss, fight the boss, fight all 4 bosses, and get to Mother Brain. So now I'm selecting my starting room.
Norfair.
I'm gonna pick Norfair. I want to fight Ridley. So first things first, we got multiple skill shots. You can hear the click, click, click. There's the inline drops in the back. If I hit those, that is a skill shot. If I can hit one of the back 2, it'll try to catch the ball behind the drop targets. and give you a countdown and let you get a chance to get a super skill shot up the side ramp by feeding that flipper. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to cheat if it doesn't actually work. Or not. I lose. Oh, maybe not. There we go. I got it. So now I'm going to try for the side ramp. Alright, let's see if I can actually do it.
Shoot the side ramp.
I didn't do it. So we failed that, but we still got the regular skill shot. So in order to explore the map, like I said, you have to hit certain shots which are doors. And there's a mini-map, if you look in the upper right of the screen, which sort of gives you a hint, like where different things go. So I want to go south. So if I look at this, what would you expect to go down? It's something that goes under the playfield. So in this case, it's a scoop. Doors are lit blue, and that's how you tell they're solid blue. Shots are usually blinking. You can see these are the mode shots. I'm going to ignore those for now, and I'm just going to go down the scoop. I want to get to Ridley. So now I'm down here. I want to go right. Ridley is the boss at the bottom of the map. So I want to go right. I'm looking. All right. So like the right orbit looks like I'm going right. Let's go there. I did it. So now another room. And I want to go south. That's where Ridley is. So look, the scoop again is lit. I want to go there. Now Ridley is a 4-ball multi-ball. And you see there's a bunch of shots which are lit blue or red. The red shots are strong shots. The blue shots are weak shots. Ridley has 200 hit points, so I need to beat him. Not doing too well.
Power bomb collected.
Let's see how good I can do. So I want to hit ramps. What am I doing? It's not a ramp, that's an orbit. Oh well.
Power bomb collected.
So here's the... I actually beat him. So there's other rules in during the battle. This is the missile bank. Completing that during a boss battle will automatically get a missile and shoot it directly at... automatically use it and shoot it directly at Ridley and gives you a bunch of... hits him with a bunch of points. This is the power bomb bank. Collecting that gives you a power bomb. If you get a power bomb during a boss fight, it's automatically used on the boss, and it helps defeat him faster. Eventually, there's going to be victory laps here, since I still have 2 balls in play. It's not coded yet. It will be coded by Expo next year, for sure. Anyways, once you beat him and drain down to 1 ball, it opens the door on the back there, on the back ramp, and you can leave this room and continue to explore and fight all the other bosses. So I have this solid lit. That means I beat Ridley. But there is a lot more going on than just exploring the map. Let's drain. Let's lose our ball.
Bonus. Continue.
So on your next ball, you get a chance to continue at the room where you are. Maybe I want to go somewhere else. Let's go to Meridia. So what else is going on in this game? So there are, like I said, this is the power bomb bank, and if I collect one,
Power bomb collected.
and then I shoot like to the upper, shoot through this bridge, and there are 2 ways to do that. You can shoot the side ramp, which feeds the bridge very consistently. The other thing is behind the inline drops, there is an up kicker, and that will feed the upper play field, and that's a bit more random, and you may have to nudge a little bit to get it where you want it to go. So let's do that, actually. I corrected a power bomb. Let's, can I actually hit it? Like that. And destroying a bridge awards you another skill shot. We got the in lanes, and completing these That awards your outlane saver, which you can shift left and right, so you have to control it. This is your missile bank. Getting that collects a missile. It's helpful in bosses. You can see I have a pink door up here. That's a missile door. I need a missile in order to take that shot through that door. There's this cool secret shot up here, which is going to be covered in art later. We got the spinner up here, which is tied to this directional insert. So it's pointing right now at my lower right. That means the lower right is worth more points. Let's say it's going right towards the bridge. Bridges are worth more points. This side bank over here awards things like mystery and extra ball. There is the captive ball up here. Let's try to backhand that.
Ball left.
Like that. You do that enough times and you get a multi-ball. That's Chozo multi-ball, because it's going to lock you into your current mode, your current room. So it'll close all the doors and you play it as a 3-ball multi-ball. So this up here, that is the mini boss bank. There's subways in the back up here. They feed the scoop. There's even a subway entrance in the middle of the pops, which is really cool. It's like bouncing around in the pops and then instantly shoots it out the pops at you. There's the inline drops, which block the up kicker to the upper play field. They are RGB software controlled, and I believe it was the first game to actually have those. There's actually a one room, which is the generator room, which you can capture the ball up behind those drop targets, and it'll use it like a second captive ball. The upper play field, you can complete those lanes. Eventually, there's going to be a really cool multi-ball associated with those. There's 4 sub-goals that you can do to get to a mini wizard mode. And also, it has Twitch features, so if somebody donates 25 bits, it automatically adds a ball to the game. If somebody subscribes, it'll either randomly warp you to another room, or it will give you reverse flippers. Player-controlled slingshot, the most useless feature. Hit this enough times, and that light comes on, and you can use that as an upper flipper. I haven't figured out, it's a cool idea, I haven't figured out what to do with it yet. When you're playing a room, there's a mode, there's a goal. If you complete that goal, it gives you an X on the map, and you get a lot of bonus for doing that. Basically, every shot is going to build up a sub-mode once you get hit it enough times. Yeah, it's pretty much Metroid Pinball. And I don't want this to run long, so let's let multi-ball run out. Anyways, I have way more to do on this, but I am planning on bringing it to Expo next year. I was planning on bringing it to Expo this year. So hopefully we'll see you there, and see you soon.
I really love the sound and music package in Metroid Pinball. I think it suits the theme quite wonderfully, and that infinite mirrored display is just awesome. Nice job. Next, we're going to take a look at Wilder Ham and his journey into creating Zelda Pinball.
Hello everyone, I'm Wilder Ham, and I am the creator of the Zelda Link to the Past pinball machine. Here we have a D-theme, or re-theme if you'd like, of Gottlieb's Gladiators from the early 90s. And a little history lesson for you. Gottlieb was originally going to design a Legend of Zelda pinball machine based on the Super Nintendo title, but they had some rights issues and fumbled a lot of it. And in the process of taking too long, they had to retheme it to a Gottlieb's American Gladiators. Same process happened there, and then eventually they said, you know what, we're just going to call it Gottlieb's Gladiators and go from there. So the playfield was designed with Zelda in mind, but all the rules and everything else were designed for something else. So I found a Gottlieb's Gladiators and have turned it back into what it could have been. Okay, let's look under the hood here. This pinball machine is powered by fast pinball boards. It uses MPF for the code and is written in YAML. This process was really lengthy. I had to go through and basically rewire all the switches, coils, and LEDs to the fast component hardwares down here. It's a little bit of a mess. Could have been a little cleaner, but overall I think I did a pretty good job. All right, and now for some gameplay. So if you're familiar with the Super Nintendo Zelda title, you start by finding Princess Zelda in a castle, and you work your way all the way to finding Ganon and defeating him. I've got items that you can collect, power shots, I've got some extra balls hidden in here. But let's walk through some gameplay and just see what happens. So right now, there's really only one shot lit right now, as far as getting the game going and trying to get us going somewhere. We can hit some other things, and some things might light up, but they're not going to be very rewarding, and you'll be stuck in this mode until you actually make the shots to finish it. So here we go. Cool. This is a series of combo shots here. We've just got 5 to hit initially. This particular order does not matter for this part of the mode. So we'll just spell Zelda. All right, and then the D. Cool, we have a ball lock lit. And it's the ball lock. It's here. And Gladiators has this really interesting flipper where you can kind of sneak it in there underneath. It's kind of fun. So let's get it in there. Cool, and that starts a 2-ball multi-ball. Normally during the game at this point, you'd be escorting Zelda out of the castle that she's stuck in right now. This particular mode asks for combo shots. So we've already hit A. Now we gotta hit Z. Cool. Now we have to hit Z, L, and D in order. So if we hit the first one first, if we hit L, it doesn't really do anything. But if we hit E first, it goes lit, L, and then D. We're making our way out of the castle. All right, we've got another combo to work on. Z through A, all the way around in order. It's okay if you mess up the order. There's no consequence there, thankfully. Originally, I had made this mode timed, which made this multi-ball way harder. I figured it was a little too punishing for the first mode of the game. So here we go. Got D, and again, right now we would have 2 balls. All right, and we've got a flipper freeze here that makes you drain your 2-ball intentionally, and it gives it back. Gives 1 ball back. Now we're in the light world. This one's pretty straightforward. Shoot, drops, pops, and ramps. There's a collection for each one. In each mode, we have items that are hidden. These are completion items. You'll get these naturally through the game. These are hidden in the actual modes themselves and are missable. You get them by spelling bomb in the outlanes. And it lights up one of the items on the field here. We've got an item lit. Let's cash it in and see what happens. Cool. And we found the boomerang. And so if you miss these items, the item completion is going to make your final mode easier if you complete all the items, if you get them all. If you don't get them all, you can spin score later in the game to get those items back that you missed. So let's just go ahead and hit some ramps, pops, and drops. Let's hit some ramps over and over. Cool, so we got that first pendant, and the pendant lights up on here to let us know we've gotten it. We got our drop targets. And we're just working through some modes right now, some dungeons rather, that they would have in the original game. Cool, and now we just need pops. Send it on around there, see what happens. Send it on over there again. Let's cheat a little. So we finished the light world. have all of our balls left, thankfully. Okay, there's only one spot we can hit right now. We've got some other things that are lit on here. I've got this bottle stacking mode, and as you hit targets and you do not hit this shot, this will build and build to different colors, and it'll eventually cash in for extra ball or points if you go all the way. Once you cash it in, it should start over. Okay, and then over here, this is our shot to the next mode. This is the Lost Woods mode. This mode's a little cruel because nothing's lit to show you what to shoot. You just kind of have to figure it out just by exploring all the different switches. And I'm not going to show you. That's something you'll figure out for yourself. So I'm just going to activate some stuff and see what happens. Oh, man, I drained my ball. Okay, so we're back in Lost World, thankfully. It looks like we had gotten that extra ball anyways. Okay, let's keep going. We've got some shots to hit. Okay, we're caught in the pops. Okay. Alright, the music's growing, it's getting much louder. So we know we're close. We've got one shot finally lit. Let's get that Master Sword. Another little interesting tidbit about this machine and how it differs from some of the other normal pinball machines. My game is programmed to have an end. It's a little different. Once you get through the final mode and you are able to actually beat it, the game ends, even if you're in a multiplayer setting. And the reason I did this was to kind of tell the story of A Link to the Past in a very unique way. A lot of times in most pinball machines, you find yourself playing the wizard modes over and over. If you can, I designed this one to make it a little bit more difficult so that when you actually do it, it's just a lot more rewarding.
Hi, I'm Ed Owens, and here is my Ghost in the Shell homebrew pinball machine. I'm going to point out a few of the shots and the fun things going along as I play. Enjoy! I'm going to start a game. My skill shot is going to try to make the left ramp. My left ramp, the fun part is it's reversible. So you can shoot it either way. This is a semi-transparent plastic ramp. And I miss. Game is still in progress. And I just ripped up a whole bunch of the code and doing some physical modifications. So there's some features that aren't quite working yet. You're gonna get art and playfield and inserts and programming. Sweet. So I got 4 of my 5 drop targets down. Now if I can actually get an in-lane shot, I can complete the 5th drop target no matter what it is, and it gives me an extra ball to get my shots with. So right now, I'm in the assembled team mode where, I gotta hit the left ramp forward 8 times to collect everybody in the team, and reverse to collect all the Tachicomas, which are the under ramp shot. So. Let's roll. Now I added all these. I added all the inserts right before everything got shut down, all the shows, so I never put anything behind them. But there's a lot of opportunities to add some modes, which is going to be the next thing that gets done. Let's roll. Ooh, warning. Used up my warning already, didn't want to risk it. I have lit 8 apron inserts here. I'm going to use these to hopefully... the coating's already there, just like I said, on a different computer. These are going to turn red when you get 1 warning or 2 warnings to let you know, hey, how far are you in, how much more you can nudge.
Let's roll.
Oh, come on, save it. Oh, that's coming back. So if you notice, my spinner shot is actually designed to become my orbit, and my orbit shot is designed to become my under the ramp shot. So it's kind of, I reverse them around. I just wanted to kind of mess with people's brains a little bit. Oh, a little bit different, a little bit catch you on your toes. So if you noticed the letter spelling out, that's trying to spell the word cyborg by hitting all the stand-ups. And, ooh, I was 1 letter off. So yeah, once you reach all the cyborgs, spell cyborg, you're going to have a cyborg battle. And once you defeat 5 cyborgs, that mission is completed. So you're going to get harder as you go. So the first one's just to hit the right ramp shot. Second one might be hit a combo. I'm also going to have some sort of hidden challenges in the game, so that if you complete a certain challenge, you will get a body part upgrade, like a cyborg. So it could be either as simple as a right-left combo. You're going to get an upgrade. There's going to be 4 upgrades you can get to yourself, and those are going to play into your bonus. I just keep ripping that spinner. It's a good sound. Now to the left of the left scoop, I have a couple stand-ups. Right now, those are used for... Oh, everybody out of this pool. You get them both, you're going to light your mystery. Kind of pretty standard, and I'm going to make it so the first mystery is easy, the second one maybe hits 2 or 3 shots per. I'm going to have a mode that actually utilizes those more. They're going to, because they're the Laughing Man. And if you're familiar with Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, the first gig, which is what this is based on, Laughing Man is the goal. So you're going to assemble a team. We're going to chase the Laughing Man. We're going to use those targets quite a bit as the modes get deeper. Just like to say, big old thanks to everyone that's helped me out. Joe Zenkis has helped me out with a lot of the 3D printing and modeling. A lot of other friends, kind of just my friends helped me in Pinball Mayhem. Just play test and give me feedback and give me ideas. There's not a single person job to get something like this together. And I continue getting help. So I mean, without these guys backing me up, make me look as good as I can, this game wouldn't be here. And I've worked from other people that isn't even in the game yet. Jack Danger did do some animation for me, just 2 of them. So those will be in next time as well. It's gonna be cool. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
At this juncture, I'd like to show you another project of my own. I've done a couple of different homebrew or retheme style games, including building a Wizard Blocks pinball machine from the ground up. Some of you may or may not know that Wizard Blocks was the last game on the drawing board at the time that Williams Pinball closed their doors in 1999. However, I would like to show you a different Pinball 2000 game that maybe you have never seen, which is actually Demolition Man 2000, which is a standard Demolition Man pinball machine, but with the Pinball 2000 concept applied with some interesting twists. So, without further ado, I'd like to show you Demolition Man 2000. Demolition Man 2000 is a standard Demolition Man game, WPC architecture, with the exception of it has a P-Rock board connected to the WPC driver board, sending it commands. All of the game programming and display work is actually controlled by a Raspberry Pi, connected to a 27-inch LCD screen mounted in a custom backbox. Now note, the backbox modifications are actually completely reversible, and we'll show that in a minute. Everything can be taken off the game, and the game can actually be restored to its default state. The backbox on the game is almost identical to a Pinball 2000 backbox, with the exception of it fitting a wide body cabinet. The Translight has been downsized appropriately, and we have a surround sound speaker bar on the front of the cabinet. If we actually remove the Translight, very similar to the Pinball 2000 style, we have some blinding LEDs, but beneath the blinding LEDs, we have a Raspberry Pi, and we also have an ATX power supply, which supplies power to the LEDs, general power to the RGB strips, and we also have AC line in, which actually powers everything else on the backplane. And actually mounted behind the backboard is the WPC driver board set. The skill shot on the game is achieved by timing the collision with the cold orb that's jumping up and down at the right side of the screen with the ball. So that actually hovers right over a switch, and whatever award is actually shown on the screen at the time the ball collides is the skill shot award you get. You can also see that the MTL rollover lanes at the pop bumpers have actually been reflected on the screen. The top scoop awards alternating awards between big points for 1 million and an Edgar-friendly bonus for 5 million. The pop bumpers charge the ACMAG, and then once the mode starts, the goal is to shoot the targets on the screen.
Computer award.
Simon Says requires you to actually shoot the shots that Simon is telling you to shoot. So in this case, it's the left ramp, then the right ramp, then you need to shoot the side scoop. Computer awards are actually lit off of the combos in the game. All of the combos from the original software are replicated here in this custom software. You've also noticed that we've restarted ACMAG because we didn't complete it last time we drained the ball too early.
Computer award. Light arrows.
Lighting the arrows awards 2 million per arrow shot that you pick. Multi-ball is an homage to Attack from Mars with their strobe multi-ball. All the GI are disabled, and we're actually running the flashers underneath the left and the right ramps. Jackpots alternate between the center shot, the upper left flipper, the scoop, the left ramp, the right ramp, and then the side ramp. can't see is a spinner just above the upper left flipper. That's actually the sound effect you keep hearing. Hitting the scoop when the computer isn't lit will spot an explode lamp on one of the inlays. Hitting the cars will start car chase mode. You need to shoot the left ramp, then the right ramp, 2 times in succession in order to beat the mode. Failure to complete any mode will actually respot that mode to be reactivated at any point during the game. You have to complete all modes in order to get to demolition time. You can also see that all the modes stack here. We're actually running ACMAG and car chase at the same time, and the game tracks each progress accordingly. It should also be noted that during car chase mode, flipper hold is disabled. You can't hold the flipper for any more than 2 seconds. As you can see, we just beat car chase mode, but we're dropped right back into ACMAG. The heads-up display on the upper right actually tracks the time that the mode has left. Completing the stand-ups will light the light quick freeze in lane, which will actually spot a freeze for multi-ball. Completing all 4 freezes lights multi-ball. Shooting the scoop when the computer is not lit will spot an explode lamp at one of the shots on the playfield. Hitting the explode lamps are worth 2 million apiece. This project started back in 2012 and was my first foray into custom pinball development. We're using a P-Rock board with the standard WPC board set. However, the software has been rewritten a number of times. The video elements are in C++, and the game elements, the rules, implementation, the light shows, etc., are all done in Python. All of this was designed with performance in mind in order to fit on a low-budget computer system such as a Raspberry Pi.
Accessing computer alloy depot retina scan.
We're now going to advance to our Q&A session where you'll get a chance to meet all the designers that you've just seen of these fantastic homebrew games. Hope you enjoy.